Well, hello there and welcome to this evening's live stream. Thank you very much for joining us here. Great to see you. It's been a while. It has been a minute or two, but it is good to be back. And I have a very, very special treat for you this evening. We've got some technical difficulties. So let's just make sure everything is running perfectly. Yeah, there we go. So we is live. Good stuff. I'm just going to mute myself. There we go. Perfecto. Okay, so we are live. Let me know where you're coming in from. Let me know in the chat area. Great to see all of that coming through. Okay, so we're just making sure we have everything running, and we will bring up the chat area. There we go. Okay, let's jump into it. So, if you have seen the video we did this week, you'll see that there is a new live stream overlays game in town, and they are absolutely phenomenal. I've been blown away by the quality of their overlays, the standard that they are at, and when you realize where they've come from, you'll understand why. And the best thing of it all is that they are completely free. And you may have been thinking like me, like, what's the catch? There is no catch. And that is the beautiful thing about it. Okay, so we're going to jump in. So I'm going to go through some overlays here. So as you know, my name is David Walsh, David Walsh Online. And I have the absolute pleasure of welcoming Mr. Steve Heimbold, who is the creator and the CEO of Overlays.Uno. Steve, great to have you here.
Thanks for having me. And yeah, super cool. I think this is one of the first live streams that I've done about Overlays.Uno. And myself, on behalf of myself and our small team, it's really good to join you today and talk about Overlays.Uno. We're having a lot of fun with it. And the signups have been beyond our expectations, which is just phenomenal. It's really great. And a quick shout out to Ecamm. I see that you're using Ecamm today for this live stream.
Yes, we're using Ecamm. Like, we switch between Ecamm and OBS and various things as and when. And actually, it was funny enough, just before I hopped on this, before I got ready for today's live stream, I was just thinking, your platform is so brilliant, because if you are switching between Ecamm and OBS and whatever other platform out there, you can bring your overlays with you. You set them up once and you can bring them wherever. And I was thinking, that's brilliant. That's absolutely brilliant. You can just drag and drop, copy, paste, or whatever, and the overlays go with you. So if somebody does a switcheroo on you in a presentation, you can bring your overlays with you. You just send them the URLs and you're good to go.
Exactly. We are 100% browser-based. Everything you do in the platform is browser-based. So the control of the overlays, as well as the output URL, which I think most streamers are pretty familiar using a browser source. So any streaming software that supports a browser will work with Overlays.Uno. Now, some handle the browser a little bit differently, so there are some nuanced differences, but I mean, there's dozens and dozens of offerings out there. Ecamm is super popular, has a great feature set. You mentioned OBS, Streamlabs OBS, and on and on and on. And so we get a lot of feedback, excuse me, from users of all those platforms, and they just run with it. They get into the library. It's sort of a sandbox, I call it sometimes, where there's just all these great overlays that we have built over quite some time. And it's entirely driven by users. We get feedback. We really encourage our users to join our Discord channel, and that's where some great dialogue goes on back and forth between users. We chime in, the R&D guys chime in, and that's what drives what we put in the library, the feature set, and we make changes. And actually, sometimes we'll make mistakes and stuff isn't connected right, and then we jump on it and fix it, and users just re-download the apps to their account, and away they go. So it's been very, very well received, and a lot of fun, a heck of a lot of fun. So enjoying every moment of it.
Fantastic. And you can like it's obvious this is a passion project for you.
Yeah.
And the team, the small team that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Give us a little bit of background on where this all came from.
Yeah, I will certainly. So pretty much everyone on our team has a long history of building graphics for, I'll call it high-end broadcast,
Uh-huh.
for sport and for news. So we come from, the broadcast space, very demanding space where these customers demand the pixels really go exactly where they want them. So I'm talking, I don't really need to name names, but big
You're talking
A-list sports
ESPN,
across
Fox
the
News,
globe.
NBC, CNN,
Exactly.
blah, blah, blah. You
I'll
name it,
let you
you've
do it.
worked them.
We really have, and we've been involved in pretty much every stick and ball sport you can imagine, um, and a lot of news as well. So with that background, we I'd say about 7 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, our CTO and another gentleman, our business partner of mine, he said, let's really tackle a web-based solution. And
Uh-huh.
this thing called Singular.live was born. Singular.live is the platform that we built for enterprise professional customers that want to harness the web and make cloud-based graphics. So they're scalable, they're
Yeah.
Resolution independent if they need to be, they're adaptive and all this jazz. So out of that experience, it was adopted. It's become Singular.live has become a real, I hope it's a standard of HTML graphics. And what happened along the way is I guess we're sort of like kids in a candy store. We took the tool that we built, that the guys built, and we used it to build Overlays.Uno. It was sort of a side project. And we said, I wonder if just streamers want access to amazing graphics in the browser. We said, yeah, let's give it a shot. So we just started building this library, launched the website about, I want to say it was November of 2022, and just sort of threw it out there. Not a lot of marketing, a little bit, not much. Kind of reached out to our big enterprise base of customers and signups of Singular, and it just started growing and growing and growing and growing and growing, and now it's the signups are absolutely through the roof, and it's really driven by, I shouldn't say really, it's entirely driven by an outreach to YouTube reviewers like yourself that have
Uh-huh.
found, some people have found it, on their own accord. I've tried to reach out to a number of reviewers and content creators, and they immediately just jump in and dive into it and start, running with the platform. And that's what drives us to do more. So the adoption has been phenomenal. And not only the adoption, we have, our philosophy is come in and use every one of the, as you mentioned, excuse me, for free.
Yeah.
We don't lock out any features. And the first sort of transaction, if you will, is, hey, if you give us your email address so we can notify you of new cool stuff, you can then save your Unos, excuse me, to your library and upload images and do all these great features. And that's been phenomenal. Some point down the road, obviously people ask us in the Discord channel and emails, well, when are you going to monetize this thing? Will you monetize it? And we talked about it. I think it's a little premature now. There's a whole host of things we could do, but I really don't want to lock people out of features and out of getting access to the whole platform. So that's for another day. But right now it's wide open, and I don't think at any point we're really ever going to lock it down and have some crazy price point like a lot of other subscription tier platforms. So that's sort of the brief overview. Excuse me, sorry, I got this nasty cough, so I might be drinking some water today.
Yeah, and because like when we first connected, our first question was, well, yeah, how are you going to monetize it? And then you said, well, there's no plan, no immediate plans right now. We just want to grow it. And
Yeah.
then it's like that's when I sort of asked, well, what's behind it? And then you talked about Singular, and that this is where it all
Yes.
came from. So it made sense then that it wasn't just this thing that was made up out of nothing. There is a history behind the history type of thing.
Oh yeah. a long history going back many, many years. Uh, Too far to count, to be honest with you. Our collective backgrounds of the team is in broadcast graphics, and that's how we keep the lights on.
Mm.
We are still, our team is still on the front lines of making high-end graphics for a whole host of customers. That's how we pay for the servers and pay for the time. And the platform gets paid by the enterprise work that we do. So now that it's up and running, it's really still a passion project. Whenever anyone on our team is not working on, excuse me, enterprise work, we dive back into Overlays.Uno and keep building it. And it is beyond, I have to be honest with you, beyond our wildest expectations of signups. I just cannot believe how quickly it has grown.
Mm.
I think when we first turned on the website, it was like a sign up an hour out of nowhere, just like 24, 25 a day. And it has just gone through the roof. So, which is fun because the signups are one thing, but really what's the most important thing for us right now is the dialogue that goes on specifically in the Discord channel, because that's where we get the boots on the ground, right? That's where we have our pulse on what do streamers want. And with the browser source and a browser control, it's so flexible and easy to make edits and real-time edits. Uh, it's just so much easier than building. I affectionately call our R&D guys, specifically with our CTO, no more downloading pesky zip files filled with bad ideas is what we sort of joke
Absolutely.
around. It's a
Absolutely.
pain in the butt when you download stuff and you have to put these files all over the place to try to get a simple graphic. I mean, just a lower third, like it shouldn't be that hard. Hopefully we've come up with an offering that really appeals to streamers across a whole gamut of content creators, right? It's not just gamers, it's not just news or sport. It's really anybody who's doing like yourself. If you want to add some quick graphics, that's what the
Yeah.
platform's designed for.
Yeah, absolutely. Whether you're a podcaster or just doing business stuff or just personal stuff, it fits pretty much anywhere. And it can be adjusted to fit
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah, that you're right. And when we built these Unos, we a lot of people get quite creative with them. You drop these Unos into um, OBS, for example, scale it, move it around, and or any number of streaming platforms. So, I mention OBS just because I don't want to say it was designed for OBS. It's really designed for any browser source. I mean, you can take the output of an Uno, put it in a web page if you want. It's
Exactly.
all
Yeah.
web pages. So that's really cool. People use it for kind of signage type situations where they're just have a monitor maybe in a lobby and they may need a ticker or a news ticker, just a little bit of information. But really, it's targeted at streamers.
Yeah.
Is the target. But it's fun watching us see where people use our outputs. On the Singular side, it's all over the place, and we have a full API on the Singular side, the professional tool. So we have a lot of partners that use our API directly and generate
Mm.
graphics that I don't really know where they go. It's an API for them to do with as they please. So a number of partners, and you can see that all on the Singular.live website, which we just launched the new one. Hat tip to our team that got that done. It looks beautiful. I really like the new website. So that's on the inner side part of the business. But today, mostly, I was happy to talk about Overlays.Uno.
Yeah, absolutely. So, for those who haven't watched a video I released earlier in the week, Overlays.Uno is basically a web-based overlay software that allows you to customize your overlays, and they can be done live as they are on your stream. It's absolutely phenomenal. It works amazingly well. And just I've gone through a couple of the overlays at the beginning of this. So we had the end of the countdown because the stream didn't start in time because of technical issues. And then we had a lower third, and now we have the two up. And if I quickly go over to the socials, we have a social one pop up here. So you'll see this is another Uno, and this is totally customizable. And in fact, I have this here, and I can go ahead and if I go to here, and then I'll just
Yeah,
update.
that is a super popular one for us.
Yeah,
Like a lot of people, and so we've tried to. Some people submit designs, and if we have time, we'll take a look at designs that get submitted in the Discord channel and try to knock them out. This one was inspired by one of our reviewers down in Mexico. Phenomenal, does a great job, much in the same space as yourself. And he sent me a couple images, and so we knocked something out that
yeah.
I thought were pretty cool.
So you'll see I've updated the text on these, and so every time it switches, the updated text is on there seamlessly.
Yeah.
Seamlessly. So if I just put it back. There you go. So again, you can do it yourself, like I've just done there, or if you have somebody working with you, whether that's your friend or a team member of your team or whatever, they can start updating these, and you can do them on anything, literally on anything. If I go back here, so we have the two
Yeah.
up, and if I pull up this one here, so I can go. I can go to. Let's change my location. If I could spell it correct. There we go. So you'll see my location on the top left of the picture has changed to Dublin from London. No
Yeah, it's quick. It's
complicated
instant.
anything. If you can type, even if you type wrong, you can still do
it. Yes, absolutely you can, because it's all real-time edits in the browser. Go right out the output URL, and so you see all of the changes in real time. And I'd say that there's over 400 overlays in there now, and growing. The search feature is really nice. So if you just search a common term like lower third in our search tool, you'll find dozens of lower thirds in there, which is, that's usually the most common graphic. But there's countdowns in there. There's this social media, social pop-up, the little looping pop-up, that those are in there. There's talking points and on and on. A lot of sports stuff. So the offering is vast. I mean, and it just keeps growing. Again, in every single one of these overlays that you're seeing, they were all created with our professional tool in Composer. We have a composer in Singular.live where we can create these, make edits to them, and then publish them to this site. Oh, you got the shamrock in there, and then I got the little flag. That's cool. I didn't even know we had that little feature. That's cool. Yeah. It's cool.
So it's like you can have so much fun with these. Yeah. That's what I love. If you have, like, if you're bringing in question, you got a special question you want to bring up, you can have one of your overlays there, and then somebody's copy pasting that question, pops it in, and then they can press like. And the beauty about it is that it can all work with your Stream Deck as well. So you've got a plugin for Stream Deck. You can pop it into your Stream Deck, and then you can have your buttons actually bring up. It can trigger them. It can hide them. It can advance. So much stuff in there. It's unbelievable. Literally, you are Fox News, CNN, ESPN in your office, your bedroom, your basement, your garage, wherever you want, with you, a Stream Deck, and Overlays.Uno. That's all you need.
Yeah, exactly. And I pressed on this point earlier, but I really encourage anybody who plays around within the library and maybe they see something that's close but not exactly what they're looking for, is get on that Discord channel and upload images.
Yeah.
Because that's what drives all of the feature set, because really we're kind of on my side of the fence. We're kids in a candy store. We're just having fun building these amazing Unos, and sometimes it's quite overwhelming to decide like what feature
Yeah,
set to
yeah,
put in there. So we try not to overwhelm any individual Uno. And just speaking of that, the whole idea of Uno is to try to do one thing and do it really well. So when you're in an Uno overlay, the idea is to try to do it one thing, do it really well. Don't overburden people with too many options. There are some big pieces we want to address within our platform to do new things, like being able to dynamically change the fonts, and a
yeah.
whole host of other feature set. One of them is we do have integration with Google Sheets. There's only one Uno, I think, in the library that demos that. We will be doing more of those kinds of Unos, because driving data, text, and image links to
Yeah.
an Uno from a Google Sheet is pretty
Yeah.
straightforward. It took us a while to submit that with Google, but we do have an add-on. Like I said, there's one. Excuse me. There's one in the library now that you can play around with, but there's more coming. So yeah, we're having a great time with it. Just keep building the library and driving interest. And I see it's fun for me now because every once in a while I actually run into a live stream that's using our stuff. I saw it on we have a really cool weather bug. You just type in a location and you get the current conditions. Pretty straightforward. And I saw it on a stream. Someone was doing an outdoor live stream of some sort. I don't even remember what it was. And I was like, hey, that's one of our Unos. So, which is cool. I also saw it on one of these plane spotting live streams, which was really cool. They were giving the weather conditions, and I think there was a ticker at the bottom. So they're pop up all over the place, which is fun for us to see the use cases.
Yeah, because you've got the weather API connection in there, so you just pop in your location. You don't have to do anything fancy. Just type 2 fingers, spell it correctly, and then it comes up with like, hey presto, you've got the weather on a ticker on your live stream for free.
Yep. Exactly.
What more could you ask for? You know, it's like you've also got crypto.com, and you've got a load of other integrations in there as well.
Well, the crypto one was a fun one. We can tap into data sources. So that one there's an API for crypto data, and we plugged it into an Uno, kind of throw it out there and see if that has appeal. And yes, there's been a number of quite a large download of that one. I think the weather one, in terms of API, I call them API driven or data driven Unos. The weather one is clearly the most popular one that we've offered. And there's another one in there that we publish. It uses RSS feeds on a ticker. I was
just about to say,
that one is really popular. You just you can either put your own RSS feed in there, or you can use from a drop down the ones that we found. Now, all RSS feeds are not identical, so you have to be patient, kind of play around with it and see which ones work. But the big ones work pretty darn good. So they're getting data, fetching data I can't remember the frequency, grabbing the data and then displaying the messages. And they look great. You can just drop them on a little newscast and away you go.
Absolutely. And especially with RSS, like you can pull in data streams from pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, exactly. We also have people that use it on their Zoom calls. They get kind of creative to get the graphics over the Zoom call or a Google Meet or any number of. That takes a couple more tricks to do that, but I've seen that pop up. Sometimes I use it myself when I'm doing a Zoom call.
Yeah, it's quite easy to do. It's like if you have Ecamm or OBS or whatever, you just use the virtual camera feature and use that in Zoom, and it's easy peasy.
Yeah, we don't get a lot of one of the things that I'm probably most proud of from our team in terms of the offering. People don't get confused. Once you use one Uno, you kind of learn them all, even though you'll see slight differences. Yeah, when you use like some of our soccer templates that has more or football, that there's different feature sets in the Uno, but the Uno UI never changes. So it always stays consistent.
Yeah.
So that helps us so people don't get confused.
Yeah, and that was my experience as well. It's like the first one was like, what am I doing? What do I click?
Yeah.
What happens? So it's just basically clicking everything, changing things all over the place, see what got updated, and then
Yep.
finding out about the slots feature, which I did in the video I just released. If you want to find that out, where you can schedule, for want of a better word, elements within the elements, so you can update it. And again, you can go down the list of slots that you've got or those elements with your Stream Deck, which is fantastic.
Exactly. Slots was a big update for us that we did fairly recently. I think back in the fall. Very well received. It just gives you the ability to make a simple little list or stack rundown, if you will,
Yeah,
just to manually go through messages, lower thirds, for example. So that was a big upgrade. And because all Unos, whichever one you're using, every single one of them has an API. And because it has an API, it wasn't a huge task. There was definitely some work to get that Stream Deck plugin working. And you can do a whole lot with Stream Deck, that's for sure.
absolutely.
And the one more thing about the Uno UI, it's completely responsive, and that's why it docks so nicely into OBS. You can dock the user interface
Yeah, and
in
that,
there
that
and
was one of
scale
the
it and
features
put it
I
anywhere you
liked.
want.
And again, I've shown that in the review video if you want to check that out. Again, because
Yeah, great job on that video. It's
oh,
great, by the
thank you very
way.
much.
Really, very, very step by step, and really goes through all the details. And I know that's not the purpose of today's chat, but the video is great. I hope people
Thank you.
go in there and watch it end to end because it's covered it thoroughly, my friend. It
Yeah,
was
and
really cool to see.
like as you said, once, like, if you go look at that video, then if you go to any other overlay that's in there, the interface is the same, the updates are the same,
Yep.
the slots are the same. So it's like lather, rinse, repeat, irrespective of whatever the overlay is.
Yeah. Exactly. And like I said in the very beginning, if anyone uses one and they find a mistake, because we make mistakes, there's a lot of overlays, and they're just ping us in the Discord channel, and we will address it very quickly. The only thing you have to do is once we've made the fix, we publish a new Uno. You just have to re-download it. We don't dynamically force updates across Unos because even though there might be an issue, we don't want to force an update on people. Just go back to the
It
library,
might be
re-download it,
working
and
for
you're up.
whoever's using it. Exactly. Yeah.
Exactly. That was our thinking. So, and we went back and forth on that as a team, and we said, you know what, let's just use the Discord channel. If when we publish a fix, if something's clearly broken, it's just not working, obviously go re-download it. But new features, we might update things. Not Unos are designed or built exactly identical by design, because we look at the analytics now and we see which ones are super popular, which feature sets, naming conventions, the order in which we put things inside of the Uno. We look at all those little details, really in an effort to get the best user experience across the largest group of users. And it's vast. I mean, it's global. I mean, it's absolutely global. There's huge user base down in South America that came out of nowhere. I didn't expect that. I didn't see it coming, but it's definitely picking up in the US, across Europe. We have a couple of reviews coming out, one in Indonesia and several in India. So I'm curious to see what their response is to a massive browser-based library.
Yeah, well,
so I apologize for this cough. You can hear it. Yes, they like free. Who doesn't like free?
So
exactly.
There's nothing spends better than free.
Exactly. Yeah.
So
that's
and
pretty
the
much an
thing
overview.
is, it's like, even with like when I first saw it, I did have a slight reservation. It's like, there's,
Yes.
we've been burnt in the past where it was like, yeah, it's free, but then it isn't. But like, as we've mentioned earlier in this stream, is like, it is free. Simple as. There's a business behind this business, which is basically paying for it. This is the fun side of your mega business. Oh, I would say mega business, but the big pro business that you've got.
I'm really glad you brought that up again. And there's something I want to address to the users, the user base, not only on the Discord channel, but also on the site itself to explain to
Mm.
people um, our background because and what drives this. And like you said, we are a professional organization, a professional group that's doing professional graphics for broadcasters,
Big
excuse me, around the
companies.
world. We are, and but I know that if I was a content creator and using overlays, I don't want the wool pulled out from underneath me. I don't want to
Yep.
get really invested in this tool, and all of a sudden they come at me for this
Yep.
crazy price point. I can't even deal with it. So, I our team will be addressing that to the bigger audience to let people know, hey, we are totally keenly aware of the fact that it takes a lot to set up a really nice stream setup, and and overlays are tedious, and
Absolutely.
if you're gonna
Absolutely.
if
If
you're gonna
anyone
invest in
who's worked
us,
with OBS for any length of time will tell you
yeah.
that it is a nightmare.
It's well, yeah, exactly. You start getting into advanced stuff, really advanced graphics, and triggering with Stream Deck and
Yeah.
switching scenes. It gets really, really
Yeah.
complicated very quickly. So you don't want to get sort of pregnant with an overlay platform, only to have it, pulled away from you with some crazy price point.
Well, yeah, it's like you add one, then you break every other one that you've spent like 2 years setting up, and you've no idea where it is because you just don't have that technical know-how. Whereas you don't
Yes.
need technical know-how. As I said earlier, 2 fingers typing very badly is all you need.
Yeah, I think so. I hope so. I
And
mean,
a
I
couple
hope
of clicks of a
just to
mouse.
get,
If you can do that, you can use Overlays.Uno. That's
yes.
how much technical nuance you need. Drag and drop, even if you're using OBS. If you can drag and drop, and I think you've probably done it by mistake more often than not. If you can do that, you can use Overlays.Uno. That's how simple
Yeah.
this is.
I hope so. I appreciate those kind words. We really strive to do that, to try to keep it simple. And again, it goes back to the name of the platform. It's Overlays.Uno, one thing. We're
Yep.
trying to do one thing and do it really well. Any single overlay in the library should be easy to understand. And if you learn one, you've learned them all in terms of the UI. And we will
Exactly.
continue that. And the feature set behind the curtain, the stuff that's coming out, the stuff that we aspire to do is super, super cool. So I'll save that for another stream.
Yeah, you've mentioned a few things to me, and I've gone,
Yeah,
ooh. So yeah,
yeah,
I'm definitely excited for
yeah.
them coming out. Like you hinted to a little bit of it earlier on, but yeah, what's coming after that,
Oh yeah,
I'm very excited about.
yeah, exactly. I'll save it for another stream, and I'm struggling with the stupid cough, so I might cut this one short just because I can't shake it. So,
Yeah, the
but
snow in
I really
Colorado is getting to
appreciate.
you.
I'm looking out the window and I'm seeing the snow is just absolutely dumping. I'm thinking maybe some cold air and a little snow on me will get rid of this nasty little cough I have. But I really appreciate your time. I really appreciate the video and your time to do this live stream because, um, we want to get the word out and let people
Yeah,
know who we are. So it's not just some, cold, faceless, offering.
absolutely.
We're
It's just
super passionate about overlays, super passionate, and been doing graphics for a long, long time, many decades, my
decades,
friend, many
decades,
decades.
like almost before
Yeah.
the internet.
Yeah. I mean, myself, I mean, I've started using, like, if you look at the big platforms like the Adobe suite before there was Adobe, I mean,
Yeah.
from a long time ago, at a very young age. And now we are completely in the cloud, 100% with our platform. So it's fun. We still use the Adobe suite for certain things, but the offering and what we're doing is the only thing I think you need to download in the whole platform is really the
Stream Deck
plugin
plugin.
for Elgato. That's it. That's the only one.
And you'll be glad you did because it is fantastic.
Actually, I take it back. There's one more thing you can download, and you have to jump over to singular.live. We have a download from called Recast, and Recast will convert your um, output URL of any Uno to NDI. And with that, a lot of our high end customers use that NDI in their broadcasting space. Well, not just professional broadcasters, streamers use NDI all the time. So that's the only other thing that we download. So
Oh,
just
now
make
you're
you aware.
complicating things.
I know. Well, OBS, you can convert a web page to NDI as well. So that's
Yeah.
always an option.
Yeah.
So
But if you want to bypass the tech, copy paste a
Yeah.
web URL. That's it.
Yeah, that
That's it.
is.
And type very badly. That's all the technical know-how that's required.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Well, thank you very much for bringing us, sort of giving us some background behind
Yeah.
Overlays.Uno and stuff, and putting a face to the brand.
Yeah, well, there's a phenomenal team behind me that we couldn't do any of this. They're just absolutely multifaceted, super talented. I appreciate this. I definitely would like to do another one of these with you when we have some new features out there
Yeah.
and when I don't have this little cough. But thank you so much for your time. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome, and it's been great to have you. And we will see you definitely when we've got some more features and some more things to show off.
Yep, absolutely.
All right. Thanks very much, Steve. Bye for now.
Take care, David. Bye bye.